episode 93 of Antenna Heads, where we cover the best of TV from today and yesteryear. I'm Brian Cassis, joined by Cristina Aruju.
Yes.
And Alex Aruju.
How you doing, Brian?
I'm right. I'm actually looking forward to this very special retro rerun.
Yeah, bringing that back. It's been a couple weeks since we talked about a retro television series, but we're going to do it this week. And man, what a series we have to talk about. It's always good to be here talking to my sister and the mister. That's right.
That makes it sound like I am a mister.
I know, I didn't say my sister, the mister.
No, he said and the mister, which implies that we're married, which we're not.
No, it just implies that you're a man.
It's just all confusing. I am not married to Brian. I'm also not a man.
Yes, that is factual.
Those are the facts. I am, in fact, Al's sister.
On a different note, if you'd like to buy Sister and the Mister t-shirts, you can just email us, broadcast@gmail.com.
Like if it was a nun and just a mister.
Like a male nun?
No, like a nun and a guy.
Mr. Sister.
Holy shit.
The male nun.
Let's end this podcast and write the show.
Give give Whoopi Goldberg a call.
We'll call Hulu. They'll just take anything.
They pretty much will. They took the mini
Is
project.
is it like a...
It'll just be Sister Act?
No, like Mrs. Doubtfire meets Sister Act.
Well, it would just be Sister Act, but with a guy, because in Sister Act, she's hiding from, like, the mob.
No, but I think it's implied that it's a Mrs. Doubtfire
meets
Sister Act.
Sure, because it's a guy dressing up as a woman.
Yeah.
Well, duh.
But no one can know that he's a guy.
But we'll have to
just like in Sister Act, where they couldn't know she was there. It's just now...
They knew she was there.
The mob did.
I mean, the nuns can't know that she's a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, he...
Those are both successful 90s movies. Why this hasn't already been made, I don't know. Dude. Like, Kevin Costner could star in it.
No.
I think he'd be a good Mr. Sister.
Steve Harvey.
God. I don't want to write, produce, or watch that movie. All right. Can he also teach high school? Because that'd be even better.
Well, you can't do chorus.
He works with kids in an outreach program.
That was like Sister Act 2.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, yes, we're here. We're going to talk about some retro television shows, one specifically, actually. Before we do that, there's a bit of news I want to talk about that just broke. Evidently, Stephen Amell, star of Arrow on the CW, we talk about him every once in a while because he used to cross over with The Flash a lot. He is apparently going to be wrestling professionally at SummerSlam. He'll be wrestling son of Dusty Rhodes, Cody Rhodes, under the name Stardust. This all started when the two on Monday Night Raw had a bit of an altercation when Stardust was walking to the ring. So look forward to, in August, seeing Arrow up against a man who's got his face painted and is all wacky. Get ready, Chris. We should probably review that. Review the match.
No.
Because here's the thing.
Stop giving us stupid shit to review.
I think people would enjoy if we reviewed it, but
I think you would enjoy it.
It would also be interesting because
you are not people.
There's a long lineage of actors and celebrities wrestling in professional wrestling matches. Snooki did it. LT.
Snooki was also on Supernatural. Did you guys see that episode?
No. We can do a Snooki 2-pack where we review. It's a good branding.
She was a demon.
So, was she? Oh, yeah, she looks like one.
She's a Crossroads demon.
But yeah, Snooki's done it. A lot of celebrities have gotten into the ring and mixed it up one way or another.
Cookie batter, mixing it up.
All right. Calm yourself. It will be interesting to see how Stephen Amell does, because even though he is a very muscular man, he obviously works out a lot. Training for professional wrestling is totally different than just, getting your body in shape. You have to have a lot of cardio already because you're going to be working a several-minute match and you're always moving. It'll be fun to watch and see how he does. My predictions? 8-minute match. He gets carried because Stardust is pretty good. And, hopefully he doesn't win.
Oh no, he takes Stardust.
Hopefully he doesn't win, but he'll have to win because part of the reason he's doing this is because he wants to win.
He's taking it.
That sounds pretty dirty.
Yeah, it does.
It should be.
Taking the Stardust.
It's Stephen Amell, come on.
There's your show title, folks.
Dirty.
Yes. So, getting back to why we're all here. Batman the Animated Series. That's why we're all here.
Wait, that's why we're here?
Maybe not. Maybe, before we talk about the show, even though I just revealed what show it is, we should find out what show it is. That word was find out.
Yeah, find out.
Find out.
We should find out.
Fernie.
Oh, Fernie. Oh, no one knows what we're talking about.
No one gets that reference, nope.
I don't even get that reference.
You don't.
Don Fernando.
Anyway, let's find out what show we're talking about this week, even though I just revealed it a second ago. Batman the Animated Series. A wonderful, wonderful animated series from the 90s. I grew up on it. Brian, I'm sure, watched a lot of it as a kid. I'm sure Chris watched some of it, too.
I watched pretty much all of it.
I watched it, I think, as it aired.
Yeah. I was very big on the superhero shows when I was little.
Mm-hmm. Power Rangers.
Spider-Man.
X-Men.
The X-Men. Captain Planet.
It was a great afternoon TV movement.
It was maybe the height
Darkwing
of
Duck.
kids programming. In the 90s.
Without a doubt.
One Saturday Morning was also up and running.
Yep.
Fox Kids was up.
Superman. I was a big fan of
Superman the Animated Series on Kids WB. A lot of good ones. Batman the Animated Series, in many ways, inspired a lot of the animated series that came after it, rather. Started in 1992, and there's a long and twisting path to get to Batman the Animated Series, but in this episode, we're going to talk about 3 episodes chosen by me, because I'm the one that put it in the hat, as the way Retro Rerun works. These 3 episodes, I think, capture why the series is so great and why I love it so much. So, if nothing else, you'll find out why Al never shuts up about this show. Looking at how Batman the Animated Series came about, a lot of it was driven by the success of Batman 89 with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. WB wanted to do an animated version of that show, of that franchise, in part because Tiny Toon Adventures was already up. A lot of their earlier animated series of the late 80s and early 90s were doing successfully, so they wanted to add more to the mix. Oddly enough, working at Tiny Toons, there was a fellow by the name of Bruce Timm. Bruce Timm is very important in the lineage of Batman the Animated Series because he's the co-creator along with Eric Radomski, and he's also in charge of designing most of the characters. So anyone you look at, Bruce Wayne, Batman, any of the actual models, Bruce Timm drew. Same time, another name you're going to hear a lot about is Paul Dini. Someone I talk about probably every week in one way or another just because I enjoy his writing so much. He had been writing for various animated shows by the time that Batman the Animated Series came around, and he's certainly responsible for some of its most successful episodes. He won 2 Emmys on the show, and he's won 5 in total. So he knows what he's doing in terms of writing. And actually, all of these episodes I picked today are from the mind of Paul Dini. So without any further ado, let's get into the first episode here. Let's talk right about Heart of Ice. Chris, you want to tell us what Heart of Ice was all about?
Sure. Heart of Ice is, I guess, the first episode in which we meet Mr. Freeze, who was a doctor who's basically doing research, I guess, to help save his wife. Mm-hmm. And I guess the chairman of the company that was running or was in charge of his research basically decided to shut it down and ended up, I guess, turning him into, you know, the villain that he is. Right.
And part of the reason he was doing the research, I think, as you said, was to try and save his wife, Nora. Yes. And in that fracas, if you will, his wife, Nora, gets lost. Seemingly dies.
She doesn't die, though, doesn't she?
Well, in future episodes, we find out that she's, in fact, not dead. Yeah. But as in this episode, he doesn't know that she's not dead.
Yeah, as far as you're concerned for Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
She did.
So Mr. Freeze is essentially going around and targeting, I guess, GothCorp facilities or people. And
trying to steal various pieces of equipment.
Yeah. And Batman tries to put a stop to it. And by putting himself in between the vendetta that Mr. Freeze has against GothCorp, he basically... Oh, that was...
Ominous, yeah.
It's quite ominous.
Don't talk about Mr. Freeze.
He basically gets Mr. Freeze's antagonism targeted towards him. So obviously, if he's not part of the, God, I can't think of it.
If he's not part of the solution, he's part of the problem.
There you go.
Yes.
Words, they escape me.
That's my sister. That's the mister over there.
Okay.
I'm pointing. So what happens, Chris?
Things happen.
Mr. Freeze builds the giant ice gun from all the pieces of equipment that he steals from GothCorp, and he targets Ferris Boyle, the guy who caused his wife's death and his transformation, at his Humanitarian of the Year award ceremony. it all builds to this wonderful climax where Mr. Freeze has Ferris Boyle frozen, leg down, so he can't go anywhere. And, Batman, voiced by the, wonderful Kevin Conroy, tells Mr. Freeze that it's not worth it and that he's better off with justice than with vengeance. Mr. Freeze tries to kill Boyle anyway, so Batman has to put him down, as you do. And, Batman even reveals that Ferris Boyle did all this, so taking away the veneer of the good businessman that Ferris Boyle has and revealing how, sinister he really is. Oh, and it should also be said, he beats Mr. Freeze with, the only cure for a cold. That being chicken soup. Just bashes him with some chicken soup.
A thermos of chicken soup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just clunk. And then it sounds silly, but it works quite well.
The impenetrable, glass dome
That's
that
right.
Mr. Freeze wears.
Nothing breaks a thermos, though, as we all know.
Nothing breaks a thermos.
Alright, let's get into this. What did you like about the show, Brian? With this episode specifically?
Well, to start, it's just the tone of the show, right? So it's a very, even though it's a children's show, it's a very adult written in terms of appreciation, depth of characters, nuance, and then just the overall look of the animation is awesome. It's just dark and gritty, but clean at the same time. So it's it's
very minimal at times.
Yeah,
There's very few lines.
It's beautiful, and then the time period also that this show is set in is not a modern day.
Well, it is. It's a modern day, but with Art Nouveau,
Right.
like 1940s
I was going to
influences.
say it's a 1992
Because you've got today's technology.
right, but with a 1940s.
It's
feel to
almost
it.
like steampunky.
It exists in its own universe almost because
But before
Steampunk was a thing.
was
Like it's.
because they have the police.
Well, I mean, without the
blimps.
Victorian.
Yes.
Because steampunk's usually
Oh,
Victorian,
right,
but like
okay.
a 1940s steampunk.
throwback type.
an
thing.
Art Deco
Yeah.
style. Yes, that's why the designers called this style that they use Dark Deco, because you have the very dark imagery against this Art Deco design everywhere. Really, I love the way the show looks
Oh,
because
absolutely! It's one of my favorite things about the show, and it
Yeah.
actually makes it hold up a lot more because it didn't care about the time period. There were cell phones, but not
Yeah.
really the same we know now because it's 1992. But
Yeah, but they still
had
use like
rotary
Tommy
phones,
guns. It's
Tommy
like
guns,
it's in this very
the
interesting.
blimps that police
Yeah.
used.
It's designed very interestingly because I think you've seen it along with me, the Max Fleischer Superman animated
Yes.
shorts from the 1940s. It takes a lot of inspiration from that, both in the design of the characters and in the overall feel, because where that's really based in the 1940s, this is designed to look like that. So you have the uses of the Tommy guns and the uses of the blimps, but you also have more modern technology, and it creates this weird dynamic where it exists in its own universe, really.
Yeah.
It's really fun to watch for that. And as you said, the writing in this episode especially is just incredible. I mean,
one of my favorite scenes was when Batman meets Mr. Freeze and he goes, "Freeze, that's Mr. Freeze to
that's
you."
your favorite writing from this episode.
yeah, I don't know why.
I just, why? Because it was funny at the time. It's still funny now, but it captures who Mr. Freeze really is.
And I think Paul Dini, who wrote this episode, I said, and writes all of the ones we're talking about here today. By the way, Heart of Ice, September 7th, 1992 it aired, directed by Bruce Timm. So just to get all the boilerplate out of the way. Paul Dini is one of my favorite writer for so many reasons, but one of them is that he gives his characters, and especially his villains, so much more depth than the traditional animated show. He makes them feel not like just cookie-cutter villains who have a plant thing or a cold thing. He makes them feel like real people who have this eccentricity that drives them to do something, but you understand why they're doing it, and they have this deeper plan more than just destroying the world.
So wait, I have a question for Al, because Al's always saying how he doesn't like when villains
I'm so glad you brought this up, because I knew someone was going to say it.
When villains have that sort of like, they're bad, but they're not completely bad, and they
Right.
have that like heart. Al hates that, and he talks about it all the damn
Yes.
time.
There's
what's up with
But-
Mr. Freeze, Al?
Mr. Freeze and a lot of the villains on this series, the thing that Dini does and the other writers do so well is that they make you understand why the villain is doing what they do and somewhat empathize with them, but you never want them to succeed, or you never want them to not come to justice. You always want to see Batman defeat them. There's always that villainous quality, but you know why they're doing what they're doing, but you still know what they're doing is wrong.
But you still want him to get his way. You still
I don't.
want, in this episode, you didn't want the other guy to pay?
I wanted him to be brought to justice, but I didn't want him to be killed.
I was satisfied
wanted
with
Batman
the
to win.
result, because Mr. Freeze.
Well, I didn't want
wants
him
to
to
kill
be killed either, but
See, so there you go. So Mr. Freeze would have killed him.
Right. You can empathize with the situation he's in, but you don't approve of or agree with the way he's doing what he's doing.
Al's point is that this does it to just the right point.
It walks that line.
Anything more, and it'd go into his realm of I hate this.
It would go into building too much sympathy for a villain, which I never think is good.
The snow is beautiful, don't you think? Clean, uncompromising,
and cold.
like the swift hand of vengeance.
I saw what happened to your wife. I'm sorry.
I'm beyond emotions. They've been frozen dead in me.
That suit you wear, a result of the coolant?
Very good. A detective to the last. I can no longer survive out of a sub-zero environment. Tonight I mean to pay back the man who ruined my life. Our lives.
Even if you have to kill everyone in the building to do it?
Think of it, Batman. To never again walk on a summer's day with a hot wind in your face and a warm hand to hold. Oh yes, I'd kill for that.
Let's talk about that video of
I'm glad you brought this up. The
security video.
The security camera.
Yeah.
Which was shot by some director.
By 30 people.
And some good security cameras.
Right.
But it wasn't a security camera. It was he was talking to the footage. Like it was
right.
in the very
but
beginning. It's documentation of the experiment.
Yeah.
So it's actually someone's filming it, and then they just come in and interrupt it.
No, but there are cuts to
film.
like angles that would be traditional for a security camera. I think that makes sense because there are security cameras in many big businesses. I think the weird thing is that somebody took the time to like cut them all together into this one film to tell this linear story. But I thought that scene is tremendous because Michael Ansara, who does the voice of Mr. Freeze, he's a very good voice actor in that he's got to play two roles here. He's got to play, the cold, unfeeling Mr. Freeze and the very emotional Victor Freeze. Because, once you have so much Mr. Freeze for like the first act, you get to see this character that he was before, this Victor Freeze, and he's really this meek, heartfelt man who's just trying to cure his wife through his research. And not only the passion that he gets in that scene when Ferris Boyle kicks him into these chemicals and he becomes Mr. Freeze and he cries out for his wife, but later also the monotone coldness of his Mr. Freeze delivery, it's so good and it's right spot on.
Get away from that equipment. Shut this stuff down.
Stop! This is my experiment.
Your unauthorized experiment. I ordered funding suspended weeks ago. I'm already $3 million in debt thanks to you.
You can't stop it now. My wife is in there.
So bring her out.
You can't interrupt the process now.
Open it.
It's her only chance.
This is my equipment. Mine. I have every legal right to use it or not use it as I see fit. I say this project ends now.
No! Stay away from her. Murderer.
Victor. I'm sorry. I lost my temper. It doesn't have to come to this. We can talk.
Oh! Oh!
Get out! Get out!
Nora! Nora!
My God.
Yes. It would move me to tears if I still had tears to shed.
He also loses a lot of weight.
Mr. Freeze does.
Yeah.
He loses a lot of weight, and as we find out, the suit that he wears
really
triples his strength.
Rotund.
and his heart,
And his heart.
Yeah.
Yes.
which is what really matters.
Do you know who voiced Ferris Boyle, Chris?
No.
Really?
Sounds familiar.
I'm surprised you couldn't tell. Brian, do you
I
remember?
didn't. I wasn't trying
No.
to though.
Oh, it's Mark Hamill.
I thought it sounded like him.
It's Mark Hamill, and there's a very interesting story behind it. And I'm going to
It's
tell
so funny because I swear when I was watching it, I was like, it seems like he's trying to go for like a Mark Hamill thing,
He sure is.
Bitch, leave Mark Hamill to his own devices.
This was Mark Hamill's first role on Batman the Animated Series. The way it all happened was Mark Hamill found out that Batman the Animated Series was being made by reading some trade journal, you know. And by the time he called his agent and asked to get a role in the series, his agent got him this role of Ferris Boyle. But when he got to recording Ferris Boyle, he was talking to all the producers and all the directors, and he's like, "Oh, so who's doing this? Who's doing that?" Trying to get a role.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, who's doing Mr. Freeze? Oh, it's Michael Ansara. Who's doing the Joker?" And by that time, they had already cast the Joker, and Tim Curry was supposed to play the Joker. Okay. And in fact, he recorded the 4 episodes of Batman the Animated Series as the Joker. Tim Curry did. So what happened was the production company and everybody in the production didn't really like the Tim Curry Joker. They said it was a little bit too scary. You know, and considering he's done the voice of It the Clown, it's kind of understandable. But what happened was they recast him. So they gave Mark Hamill a call because he expressed so much interest in it, and he was scared to shit. Because once he actually had to audition for the role of the Joker, he's like, "Oh, God, it's going to be far too daunting a task." Because you have to remember, this is right after only a couple of years after Jack Nicholson played the Joker and did a very memorable job of the role, and everybody be comparing you to Jack Nicholson.
It's so much better, though.
It's so much better. And the thing is, they were really, really dead set on not doing a Nicholson-like Joker. They told him, go somewhere completely different. Don't do Nicholson. And he did not do Nicholson, and he did something very, very good. But this is the way that you got Mark Hamill as the Joker. Through Ferris Boyle.
Great.
Thank you, lucky stars. Also, I love the fact that, just a little thing I noted, Mr. Freeze's archenemy, his last name is Boyle.
Good job, Al.
That's just good writing. That's just Paul Dini's good writing. Anything else you guys want to touch on? Any things you noticed?
I mean, I thought that we were talking about the security video.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, I mean, it's such a good way to not do graphic violence and still have it be upsetting and, you know, impactful,
right,
and just like really hit the mark that it needs to. I mean, you don't need to like show everything.
Mm-hmm. And you have to remember, this is a show designed for children.
Yeah.
You know, this aired, while it did air early on in primetime on Sundays, this primarily aired, 3:00 on weekdays. So it had to be kid sensitive. It had to appeal to them and not be too graphic. And they got around being graphic in a lot of ways. If you remember Robin's Reckoning Part 1, where Robin's parents die,
oh yeah,
the rope, they're swinging, and then the rope, the tightrope has actually been fussed with, so it'll break, and the rope just swings back and it's broken. And you know what happens, and you hear the reaction of the audience. And in that way, it's actually a more powerful depiction than rather just them being shot or something, Also, for some reason, they couldn't show blood a lot. So,
yeah, it's rare.
It's rare.
Isn't there the one scene when like Batman has like blood on his face?
Yeah. In the first episode produced Man Bat, Batman has a bit of blood there. They do actually get away with showing real guns though. In most other animated series of the time.
The one with those, the guys who wear the animal masks.
Yeah.
That's one of the most like violent
trio
episodes.
I love that episode.
Like,
it's not here though. We're not going to be talking about it today.
When I watch that episode and they're beating up on the girl's father, I'm just like,
we're talking about shows, not Heart of Ice.
Yeah.
One thing I want to talk about here is I love the design of these characters. Just Bruce Timm did a wonderful job. He designed Batman here around the 1960s Space Ghost, and if you compare them side by side, you can obviously see the influence. But I love the fact that he's not the Michael Keaton Batman. He's a very 1940s barrel-chested man who looks like if he was next to you, he'd probably be like 7 feet tall. And even the design of Mr. Freeze, I've always loved, because he has this like vintage spaceman look, where this is what a kid would think an astronaut would look like in like 1940s. It's just beautifully drawn.
I mean, yes, it is.
All that is true.
Definitely Batman, one of my first like crushes growing up.
Really?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I did not know that.
Batman, Superman. I mean, Superman.
Well, Batman or Bruce Wayne?
No, but it's both. It really is both.
Mm-hmm.
Batman is fucking hot just as Batman. And it's really like that voice. He's so distinct in terms of, I mean, without going,
right.
Yep. He's so distinct from Bruce Wayne and Batman. There's like a shift. He has this just like sense of like lightheartedness when he's
Bruce Wayne.
Yep. Like, you know, the world is his oyster and everything is like so easy. And then when he's Batman, everything is just so serious and, you know.
It's serious. There's a calm authoritativeness to his voice as Batman that I love. And like he said, it's not just the classic, okay, I'm Bruce Wayne and I'm Batman.
Yeah.
He doesn't just gravel up his voice a little bit. There's two distinct voices.
But they feel like two distinct. I mean, they don't feel like, obviously, you know that they're the same person, but it feels like two sides to a man.
Right. And, Kevin Conroy, who does the voice of, Batman, he was the first to actually originate the idea of having two distinct voices, one for Bruce Wayne and one for Batman. And the way he views it is actually, Batman is the real person and Bruce Wayne is the mask he puts on. So.
Yeah, well, it's the way it comes off, really.
Yeah. And he knows what he's doing, though. He's been doing it for 20 years, and he is my Batman.
He's mine, too.
Whenever I watch any other Batman, it's like, well, you're not Kevin Conroy, though.
He is the yardstick against which all Batmen are measured.
And I want to give Mark Hamill some credit here also, because I think in this episode, as Ferris Boyle, he does a really good job as like the slimy businessman who's nice on the surface, but is a cold industrialist.
Those
in real life.
Damn white sideburns gave him away. Don't trust anyone with white sideburns.
Or somebody who wears white pants. He's like wearing white pants and a blue jacket.
White pants.
You're not trustworthy. You're shifty. Can't trust you. No, but he is fantastic. And I love the way that it builds where you see him on the news for the first time and he's just like this nice, lighthearted guy, the people company. And then in that conversation with Bruce Wayne, he's nice, but then Bruce Wayne pushes him a little too much. He's like, this is my company, all right? Somebody was acting out of line and I fired him. And then you see the videotape and he's just like a complete heel.
And then he's like, let's get out of here.
And then he's brought to
until the gun is pulled on him. He's like, it's okay. We can work this out.
And then in the very end, when Mr. Freeze has his legs frozen, he's begging for mercy. I thought it perfectly captured the snivelly.
Oh, when he's shivering at the end.
Yeah.
There's just a shot of him shivering and you're just like, yeah, you're cold, bitch. You're cold now.
In many ways.
Which you're probably going to lose his legs, which I thought that was it was a little risque for Batman, but maybe he felt he didn't like him either.
Kids think of it. Well, yeah, but I mean.
Well, because the other guy, he had to put him in a chemical bath.
In the old back-to-tank. Did you see that?
He's losing his legs probably.
Yeah. I mean, he just left.
Well, he's a rich man. He can probably he can get some medical treatment some 1940s like, we'll just pour hot water on your legs and it'll be just fine.
Yeah, you know.
Doodly-doo.
Some all-purpose salve.
We'll rub some ointment on there. You'll be doing the turkey trot in no time.
But I think what's really important to take away is Batman is super hot, even in animated form.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe especially, yes.
No, I would say especially.
Right.
Because, I mean, Dempex.
Dempex. He's a big fucking guy.
Dempex, that voice.
Also, Chris, one of your favorites is seen in this episode, Alfred.
I've just always loved Alfred. Alfred is that lovable old man who knows everything, is super sweet, and like...
wisecracky.
Will hit someone with a cane when he needs to protect Batman. Like, he's just that sort of, I don't know, that everything.
Ephraim Zimbalist Jr., who does the voice of Alfred, very good at that fatherly, yet comically clever, but caring voice. It's fantastic. And Alfred, very well written. Always a sharp guy, knows what the trick is, knows all the angles, and
he's witty.
Very caring about Bruce Wayne also.
When Ferris mentioned that explosion, I remembered this headline from last year.
Does it say what caused the accident?
No, and I suspect that's the reason for the cover-up. I won't know for sure until I check GothCorp's classified files.
If you're going to go sneaking around a crowded office building, you'll need this.
Knockout gas?
Chicken soup. The only way to fight a cold.
It's not the Gotham Alfred where he talks like this. Get off the roof.
There's no blimies.
No, he calms down after a while.
I hope so.
Old age.
Jesus. One last thing before we move off of this episode. There wasn't a Matchsticks Malone appearance in this episode, but did you catch Kevin Conroy's security guard voice?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
I was a little confused for a second, and I was kind of like, what?
Right.
There it is.
And then they gave it away with the sneeze.
Mr. Boyle sent me to fill in. Enjoy yourself at the party with his compliments.
Great. You okay?
I'm fine. Take off.
It was a very well written episode. You really do care about the character of Mr. Freeze afterwards. And I should say, this is where the whole Mr. Freeze Nora background comes from. Paul Dini created it. Before this, there was no background to Mr. Freeze that involved his wife. He was just a cold villain. He was Captain Cold, essentially.
Ugh.
A better one.
Fucking
Paul
smart.
Dini gave this character life by giving him a backstory that made you understand his motives and yet not want to see him get beat by Batman. You still want to see Batman prevail, but you feel bad for the guy who got into this situation.
Good job, Dini.
Very
We
good job.
approve.
Well done.
Let's go to ratings on this. Chris, what'd you have this episode at?
I didn't even think of ratings.
I knew you were going to forget.
I completely forgot about ratings, but honestly, I would put this one on the bottom of the 3 episodes
Really?
we looked at. Yeah. For some reason, I mean, I've loved this episode in the past, but maybe it's because I've just seen it so many times.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because Mr. Freeze isn't particularly my favorite
Villain.
And then this necessarily isn't my favorite Mr. Freeze episode, I don't think.
Wait, which one's your favorite?
I don't know, just not this one.
Is it the one where, that one's the new Batman Adventures. But is the one where his head comes off and he's lost his body and he goes into the
No,
thing?
maybe it's just that he's just not one of my favorites. I mean, I do think his backstory is great, and I think that it really adds, a nice dimension to his character. I thought that they did a great job with that whole backstory. For some reason, when I was watching it, I just was spaced out. And so honestly, I would probably give this a 3.25, 3.5, I think. Yeah, 3.5. Let's say
Okay.
3.5.
I give it a 4.
I gave it a 4.25. And by the way, Chris, the internet just exploded from your rating. I can tell you that this is, without a doubt, the internet and most people's favorite episode of Batman the Animated Series.
They're just not right. So
Yeah, this is a big one. But hey, different
Difference of
strokes,
opinion.
different strokes, different folks.
I failed you. I wish there were another way for me to say it. But I cannot. I can only beg your forgiveness and pray you hear me somehow. Someplace where a warm hand waits for mine.
Let's go to episode 2 here today. Joker's Favor, one of my personal favorites. I actually remember this one from when I was a kid watching it on TV. First aired September 11th, 1992, just a couple of days after the last one. Directed by Boyd Kirkland, and again written by Paul Dini. This is the 22nd episode as produced. I'll tell you about this one. Why not?
Yeah,
I can handle
better.
this.
It's your favorite episode.
It is my favorite episode. I can handle this. So there's a guy named Charlie Collins. He's driving home, had a terrible day. We're gonna talk about that fucking music. I think we came in, or we're gonna go out on that music, cause fuck do I love that theme. Charlie Collins, having a bad day, boss turned him down for a raise, his wife's having making meatloaf for dinner, which he obviously hates, even though meatloaf is pretty good. I like it. He's driving home, police cut him off, Batmobile cuts him off, he's just pissed. Somebody else tries to cut around him, and he flips him off, starts cursing at him, telling him to go to hell, and worst luck in the world, who is it? It's the Joker. Joker just escaped from Arkham, gives him this wonderful smile that just, exactly what the Joker's thinking. And of course, Charlie, not being an idiot, tries to get away from him as quickly as possible. Eventually, because he's the Joker, he catches up to him, and he threatens basically to kill him. In that wonderful Mark Hamill Joker way, tells him that we can't have people like you around, so time to die. And he says...
and his family.
And his family. No, initially it's just him.
Okay.
Just him.
And he says, no, please don't kill me. I have a family. I'll do whatever you want. And he says, anything? And basically, he's indebted to the Joker. He owes him a favor. Hence, Joker's favor. He goes on with his little life. 2 years later, the Joker finally calls on this favor. He says, come help me out in Gotham City. By this time, he was smart enough, I guess, to relocate, change his name. But Joker caught him, made him come back to Gotham City, and all he wants him to do is open a door for his assistant, Harley Quinn, so that she can push a cake into Police Commissioner Gordon's ceremony, whatever it is, his roast or his celebration, something to celebrate the commissioner.
They're honoring him.
Yes. So that's all Charlie has to do. Open the door, and then he says, "I'll send you back to your family." Night comes. He opens the door, and of course, it's the Joker. So there's this big scheme. He knocks out everyone at the party. Not Bruce Wayne. Although Bruce Wayne tried to leave a little bit early, and then Charlie, through the use of a rudimentary bat signal, signals Batman somehow. Like 99 times out of 100, that would have never worked.
If he hadn't been there,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have worked. If Alfred hadn't have noticed it, it
Yeah.
wouldn't have worked.
But he does notice. So while the Joker sets a bomb on Commissioner Gordon to kill everyone there, Charlie's hand is stuck to the doorknob he used to open it, and Joker just tells him, "Yeah, I didn't mean I was going to send you back alive, stupid," and strolls his way out of there. Of course, there's this wonderful performance, I guess you could call it, by the Joker once everyone's knocked out and he's just, shooting shit with Harley Quinn when everybody's on the floor. But after that, of course, Batman comes in, gets rid of the bomb, saves Charlie, and goes after the Joker. It all ends where the Joker's escaped Batman. He's in this alley, and who does he run into? That sounds a lot more ominous that way. I didn't put that in after, by
There's
the way.
a thunderstorm going on right
Yes,
now.
so deal with it.
If you hear loud booms, that's what is happening.
I had that bean for dinner. I don't know. Charlie gets him in the corner of the alley there, and he's got one of Joker's bombs. And he basically says, "This is the way you're going out. You're not going to fight with Batman. You're not going to get some triumphant death. You're going to be killed by a putz like me." And Joker gets really scared because that's the one thing he's most fearful of, is dying in a meaningless way. Of course, Batman talks him down, and Joker eventually gives up everything he has on Charlie so he can't hurt his family anymore. Charlie still throws the bomb at him, and of course, being one of the Joker's bombs, it was just a trick thing, making Batman laugh in a frighteningly terrifying way.
That was awesome.
It was, a little weird.
It was Batman laughing because Batman would not laugh.
And Charlie goes back to his family knowing that the Joker will never bother him again. Fair enough.
Boop, boop.
Yes. Let's get right into that. The fucking music in this episode is amazing.
The first thing I wrote was that music.
Actually, I wrote that fucking music, so we're on the same wavelengths here. Every episode of Batman the Animated Series has wonderful music because all of the villains have their own theme songs. The theme song itself to Batman the Animated Series,
by Danny Elfman. You can't get any better than that.
Shirley Walker does a great job with all the themes here, and they all have their original score with this giant orchestra, but they used multi-pieces, something like 27 pieces, or some ridiculous number, just for the music on the show.
For a children's quote-unquote cartoon.
Exactly. It's wonderful here. And that catchy do. And I love the way that it's used there, and then it goes into like the violins, and then the drums, and it's just beautifully put together. I love it.
It just captures like how, lumbering and like, I don't know, like simple.
Matter-of-factual life is, yeah.
No, but like, it captures Charlie, like from the very beginning, like just, I'm just,
down on my luck. Nothing ever goes right for me.
But it also, at the same time, when they play it later in the episode, also captures Joker and his like
whimsy,
ridiculousness, and
his terrifying whimsy.
But it's not necessarily terrifying.
I think that in this episode, the Joker is probably the most intimidating, terrifying that you see him throughout the series. Because in that scene where it starts off with him throwing 2 cents to Charlie, because Charlie said, I had 2 cents, that scene is so powerful.
Okay, let's talk about that. So, was I the only one who thought he looked like Darkwing Duck?
Joker?
Between the trench coat and that hat, and then, of course, it had like a purple ribbon. I was like, this is Darkwing Duck right here.
The animation of him I never really liked too much. It wasn't bad. It's just, he's...
You mean the look of the Joker?
Yeah, he's got a gaunt face.
I love the look of this Joker.
He's so pointy.
Yeah,
I love
that's
that.
the problem.
It's so almost non-human.
Yeah.
I just the giant chin, the green hair, the big white smile, the white mouth with the red smile.
That's the thing. There's no confusing that he's a happy clown.
The long nose, yeah.
There's no confusing that he's, a nice, sweet, like...
A little too
Kid
Jay
clown.
Leno with the chin.
A little bit, but he has that, his face alone has that terrorizing look to it.
That's a good look. I just felt that the other characters are probably a little more, just looked a little better sometimes. But then again, it is a dark, it's a dark purple. on a dark screen to begin with, whereas with Mr. Freeze is the lighter blue, it stands out. I mean, Batman obviously is all in black or gray mostly, so he pops.
Gray, and then there's the blue in the inside of the cape.
Yeah.
You know why they did that? It's because they were afraid that if the cape was all black, the cape would just disappear amidst all the black backgrounds.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem with the show. So, and then, purple is harder to spot than blue. But that scene where he throws in the 2 cents is great.
And it's great delivery by Mark Hamill.
There's your 2 cents. Now, what are you going to do to me?
Listen, I'm sorry, really. I had a bad day. Boss turned down my raise and...
Now look, my rude friend. We can't have people cursing at each other on the freeway. It's simply not polite. I'm just going to have to teach you some manners.
Please don't. I have a family, a wife, a little boy. Please, I'll do anything to make it up. Anything.
Anything, says you? Okie dokie. Wallet.
Oh, sure. I don't have much cash.
No, please, don't insult me. Charles Michael Collins. That's you. Lousy picture, though. Lousy. Address, height, weight, blah, blah, blah. Righty. Oh, chuckers. Here's the deal. I'll let you off if you promise to do a little favor for me.
Here's your 2 cents.
Here's your 2 cents.
Look, my rude friend, we can't have people cursing at each other on the roads.
Because he's got this comic quality to him, but he's very intimidating there.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Mark Hamill, this is why Mark Hamill should always be the voice of the Joker.
He's got the words of like a church lady, but with like the menacing quality.
Of a church lady.
Of a church lady with a big ass purse. But it's such a great episode just because just that initial story is just something everyone can understand. I mean, everyone has a shitty day where it just seems everything's going wrong. And then, there's just one thing that just sets you off and you're like, I can't deal with this shit anymore. Like, you just go off on the first person.
And then, of course, in his luck, his black cloud that follows him.
It's the worst guy you could ever mouth off to.
And I mean, that's another thing, that whole situation where you're trying to get off the road because someone is following you and going after you.
It's terrible.
I mean, that's terrifying in any situation, and it does happen in real life.
Have you seen the movie Joyride, Joyride 2, Joyride 3?
No, but we did that. Remember you and me once?
Yeah, this guy.
What happened to us?
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy came after us. We were driving on the highway, and he was just all over the place. And he
then
started chasing us.
Then add to that the fact that it's night and the middle of nowhere.
Oh, this is the middle of the day. It was terrible.
And,
I wet myself.
He's in the woods.
And what makes Joker great, though, is when he tells him, after they make the agreement, he goes, "You just toddle back to your mundane, meaningless little life. And when I need you, I'll call."
And the thing I love about this whole idea of this episode is that it highlights the true deranged quality of the Joker, where any of the other villains in the Batman universe, they would have either ignored this guy or killed him on spot.
Yeah, Killer Croc. Done.
But the Joker loves seeing the fear in this person's eye.
Shoots the
dead.
freeze gun. He's done.
Most people would have just ignored him as a whole and just probably, maybe knocked him off the road. The Joker loves seeing the fear in this guy's eyes to the point where he makes him his hobby, as he says.
Yeah.
And the hobby where he calls him up 2 years later, he's changed his name.
Don Wallace?
Don something, right? And
Don
he goes,
Wallace.
Hello, Charlie. Wrong number, pal. Name's Don.
It's.
Oh, no.
He doesn't even flinch though when he said, I would have, if
This
someone
is the
called
right
me
number.
and I had changed my number, I had changed my name and they called me by my old name, I would be a little, phased by it. But he was just oh no, that person doesn't exist anymore. In his mind, it looked like Charlie never existed.
Yeah, and he goes, Charles Michael Collins. And he's looking through his notes, and he goes, "You moved your family to 12 whatever." And
Ohio. He moved into Springdale,
Yeah.
Ohio, I think.
You changed your name to whatever, Don
Wallace. Yeah.
And you moved your family to 12 whatever.
But see, that's the thing. It's like any other villain would just forget about this guy.
Yeah.
The Joker loves seeing fear so much that he kept tabs on him. Terror isn't just a means to an end for the Joker. Terror is the end. His goal
That's
is
what
to
he
make
lives for,
people
yeah.
afraid. And that's what this show and this episode specifically captures so well.
Hello?
Hello, Charlie.
Wrong number, pal. My name's Don.
Oh, no. This is the right number, Charles Michael Collins. Oh, I don't know why you changed your name to Don Wallace and moved your family to 12 Marigold Lane, Springdale, Ohio. One might think you were trying to skip out on our little deal. Leave the sideburns.
How did you find me?
Oh, I never lost you, Jazz. You've become my hobby. Now listen up, Charlie Brown. You're booked on the next flight to Gotham. Tell the family you have to visit a sick friend. Oh, and let's keep this to ourselves, okay? Bad things happen to people who gossip. Capiche, Carlo?
Yeah.
Good. See ya.
My next note is how fucking sexy is Batman's voice. Seriously, it's written there.
Did you like his sexy laugh? You did like his sexy laugh,
Yeah,
didn't
it
you?
was nice.
It freaked me the hell out.
It's what he would laugh like if Batman laughed.
This is one of the few times in the whole series, actually the whole DC animated universe, that Batman actually laughs.
But that's the thing, though. Batman has to be this, like, you know, not menacing, but, you know, that sort of dark specter that intimidates these villains. That's the whole point. He's not supposed to be this, like, Superman type character where it's like the sunny guy who saves everyone's day and, you know, you're just so happy to see him. I mean, it's more like he's that shadow that, you know, is there protecting the city, but it's more the fear that he brings out in
Criminals
villains.
never want to see him.
Yeah. It's more that than, you know, people are, oh, Batman.
We see a bit of that in the third episode, which I love, but let's talk about this for a second. Harley Quinn.
Yes.
Harley Quinn. This is the first appearance of Harley Quinn in any universe. She made her debut here. What did you think of Harley Quinn?
I liked her when she brought the cake in because she set
Bullock.
Harvey in his place. She was just like, no. Like
Gave him a whomping.
Yeah.
Gave him a whomping with the nightstick.
I'm trying to remember what he said.
He says, hey baby, you want to read me my rights?
Right.
And you have the right to remain silent, and whacked him.
Yeah. She had him.
Treat her like a lady.
Treat her like a lady. This is actually a really fun, interesting way to look at the show is the first appearance of Harley Quinn, because the reason Harley Quinn exists is because the show, Paul Dini, in part, wanted to have a part of this episode where the Joker is in drag. Basically, the Joker was going to be the woman pushing in the cake. And, of course, he would reveal himself.
Right.
The thing is, they realized that's probably a bad idea.
Why?
Having the Joker in drag.
Why not?
It kind of takes away the intimidation a little bit. I mean, they did do it eventually in The Dark Knight. You know,
Yeah.
he's dressed as
nurse.
a nurse there. But they decided maybe we should just add a female to his gang, you know. So they did that, and in terms of a design of Harley Quinn, it came
Didn't
about...
she already exist, though?
No, this is her first appearance anywhere.
So Harley Quinn originated from the...
Batman the Animated
I
Series.
didn't know that. I thought she was in the comic books before
No. Actually, if she had been in the comic books first, Paul Dini and Bruce Timm, because he drew her, they would have made a lot more money from her. Because at the time, DC was doing a thing where if you created a character and that character appeared in comic books and something else, you got a certain percentage of royalties. Now, if they had done it that way, where she appeared in comic books first and then the animated series, they would have gotten some royalties. Since she appeared in the animated series first and then comic books, they don't get anything.
That sucks.
Well, they probably got their usual people. They don't get an actual...
Because she's been in comic books so much since.
She's going to be in Suicide Squad. She had her own comic book series. She's a very important character and people love her. But yeah, not there. That's why...
So awful.
That's why when they created Roxy Rocket, you know
Yeah.
Roxy? They put her in the comic books first. They put her in the Batman
Learn
Adventures
that
first, and then they're
lesson.
like, we'll bring her up.
Roxy Rocket was basically just like a villain. She
Evil
was very
Knievel.
similar. Yeah.
And then she makes a lot of like sexual puns.
Yeah, but she was kind of stupid.
That's why she was only on one episode of that, one episode of Superman rather. But anyway, Harley
She
Quinn.
likes riding them rockets. We get it.
Sex.
She's a rocket rider.
Sex. If we look at the design of Harley Quinn, that basically came out of Paul Dini's mind because when he was trying to design Harley Quinn, he remembered this episode of, I believe it was Days of Our Lives. Yes, it is. That featured his friend and college chum, Arlene Sorkin. And she was dressed up in this fantasy scene as a jester, and she was wearing this two-toned outfit that's quite similar to Harley Quinn. So he took that as inspiration and used this two-tone outfit to really shape Harley Quinn and what she looks like. And do you know Arlene Sorkin, what she's most famous for?
No.
She's most famous for voicing Harley Quinn. She's the voice of Harley Quinn in this episode and
I thought so,
throughout everywhere.
but I
yeah.
thought you meant like something else that she's most
No,
famous for.
this is her. This is Arlene Sorkin. It's really weird where like she was the inspiration for the design and he knew her and they were friends. So it's like
so she's just pretty much
just do the
Harley
voice.
Quinn.
And
Really?
she's very good in the role though. She's got that very unique voice, like New Yorkish.
Yeah.
Mr. J.
Yeah, it's what Harley Quinn should be. I mean, if you were to tell me Harley Quinn sounds like anything else, it's wrong. She nailed it.
And I'll conclude by saying...
Don't stop now, Jimmy. The party's just starting.
Baby doll, entertainment. Hey, Sugar, you want to read me my rights?
You have the right to remain silent.
Ow! Ow!
Jerk.
Oh.
Here's to Gotham's Commissioner G. You lock up the weirdos, the crooks, and the geeks. You're a hero to all the boys in blue. But this time, baby, the joke's on you.
Anything else?
I like that when the Joker thinks that, you know, his work is done and the bomb's gonna go off and he's gonna have nothing to do anymore, he's like, what am I gonna do now? And she's just like, macrame's nice. Like, macrame is nice.
That's the thing.
She always has these little, like, one like, off lines.
Yeah.
They're just so funny.
That's part of the reason why Dini likes her so much is because he envisioned her as she being the one that always gets the laughs and not always pissing off the Joker.
Yeah.
Like, and she always does. She always she always has these witty little one-liners that, you know, yeah, it's funny. And like the Joker never gets a laugh, and it always bugs the hell out of him.
But that's the thing. He like resents her so much for it.
Oh, wait. There's another episode that we're not going to talk about called Mad Love, which it's based off of the comic book Mad Love of the same name.
He throws her out?
No, it basically looks at the backstory of Harley Quinn and how they got together. And he does throw her out of the building at the end, yeah. But that's a very powerful episode too.
Well, because she does
time.
go off on her own, and you know
she does. Eventually, she teams up with Ivy. Yeah.
Oh, the other thing is, just based off of design, how adorable were those Joker bombs?
Oh, with the little lapel.
They were so cute with his little face.
That's the thing. Like,
I want one.
Like, he puts his face on everything. He's like a brand master.
Yeah.
He's
got that marketing game on fleek. Like, it's just
that won't be the title because he can't use fleek twice in a row.
It just is.
There's that one episode where he tries to put his face on all the fish, and he goes to the patent office to get it, the trademark office to get it trademarked. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Smart man.
He's about that life. That Joker face life.
Anything else to add?
Yeah, I want those bombs. And also I thought it was really cute that the countdown was his eyes.
Yeah, his eyes. Nice touch.
Come on. It's just a perfect touch.
Good writing. I did like the end though, cause it's the right way to do the ending where Charlie gets he turns the tables on him and now he's got all the power.
Yeah.
I thought that Joker maybe, was a little too scared, you know, a little too intimidated. I thought they kind of took away the the menacing character of the Joker. And the bigger issue is, I think in every episode of Batman the Animated Series, by the end of the episode, if the Joker's in it, the Joker ends up being a total idiot or the fool in some way or another. I don't like that so much. I get it has to be done sometimes. I think they do it a little too much.
Well, he's a clown, but he's a jester.
And it's
at the same
a
time,
kid show
really.
too.
I know.
You gotta keep.
It's true.
So in this case, I would say you almost have to let it go. But if in the comic or like a movie, then it can be a little darker.
Like this was the first Joker episode to air, but the first two that were produced, in both of them, by the end of the episode, he's hanging over a vat of like something dangerous, and like with his leg tied on a rope or a chain, and Batman has to pull him up. It's both episodes end almost exactly the same way. It's weird.
That alludes to how he became the Joker anyway.
It does, yeah.
That's true, though. I think that for the most part, he does seem to get himself into these situations by the end of the episode where he actually needs Batman to save him.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and he actually called Batman to save him in this one.
That's right.
Which I think
that's also just a great read by Mark Hamill.
Which I think is nice because it's like, as much as he and Batman are nemesises. Mm-hmm. Nemesi? I don't know.
Oh no, he needs Batman.
Yeah.
He needs him.
I mean, he would be nowhere without Batman, and he knows it. And I think, to a certain extent, I don't know, he loves Batman.
That's why he's so protective of Batman. Another episode we're not going to talk about here, The Man Who Killed Batman, when he thinks that little putz, Sid the Squid, kills Batman, he tries to kill Sid because he's like, who are you to kill Batman? That's my job. You don't touch Batman. He really does have this weird appreciation and protection, around Batman.
He's his Everest.
He is. Anything else to add? Do you want to go to ratings on this?
No, I think we pretty much covered it.
Great.
I liked how Charlie was like, well, why can't you just open the door? Oh no, why can't she just open the door?
The giant, look at the size of the cake.
Did she carry it? Wasn't it on a...
She rolled it in.
Just fucking roll it, man.
Chris, the point is that they're trying to kill Charlie.
Yeah.
I understand, but...
All right, ratings on this. Chris, you give me yours first.
I would give this a 4.
4? Yes. I also had this at a 4 out of 5. Yep. I thought it wasn't...
It's your favorite episode, and you gave it a 4.
It's my favorite, but I don't think it's the best episode.
Right.
Brian, you had this at?
I had this at 4 and, 4.5.
4.5.
Yeah.
It's a good episode. It's very good.
Of the 3 we watched was my favorite. Mm-hmm. Not my favorite of the show.
What's your favorite? Is it Over the Edge?
Over the Edge was...
The one where Batgirl, it looks like she's died and then everything falls apart and Gordon goes after Batman. That's one of the new Batman adventure ones.
It's so hard to pick one.
I don't know.
It should be said though, this series ran for 65 episodes from 92 to 95. And then, that was on Fox Kids. And then Warner Brothers started Kids WB and they wanted their own Batman series because they'd seen it was successful in syndication. So they did the new Batman Adventures, which was really just a continuation of this with, different designs but the same cast for another 24. And that was from 97 to 99.
Yeah, I don't like those. That was seasons 3.
That was season 4.
4. Yeah. Yeah, they're not my favorite. I'd have to look closely. But like we spoke about, Grey Ghost. Mm-hmm. I like that one a lot.
Yeah. I think the Eternal Youth one with Poison Ivy is really good too. The one where
the spa?
Where Alfred and
Eternal Youth Spa.
I like that one better than the next one we're going to talk about.
Perchance to Dream is really good too, where it's the Mad Hatter one.
Yeah.
That's a lot of good ones here.
Actually, that's probably up there.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, so we digress. Did Chris give her?
Yes. 4, 4.5.
4.5. Yeah, I really like this one.
Very, very.
I always liked a show that had featured its main characters, mm-hmm. but was not the main character of the show.
Yeah, that's true.
And it shows you how good the universe they created was.
Absolutely.
So it's inferred that this is going to be, that Batman's doing his thing, Joker's doing his thing, Commissioner Gordon's there, Bullock's a dick, but it's just a really good episode.
All right, let's go to episode 3 here on this Batman the Animated Series Retro Rerun. House and Garden, one of my other favorite episodes. You can tell these are all my favorites.
All your favorites.
Season 3, episode 14, aired May 2nd, 1994, directed by Boyd Kirkland again, and once again, written by Paul Dini. In this episode, very interesting thing happens. Basically, it starts out where all of these bachelors, these rich bachelors, are being attacked, robbed, and poisoned with this toxin. So Batman, of course, thinks, well, poison, toxin, must be poison ivy.
Poison ivy.
We'll go out on that one. You're good at these. Poison ivy, it's got to be her doing this, that old bitch. But
She's not old.
She's not. She's actually
eternal youth, Al. Eternal youth.
He's shocked to discover that Poison Ivy is, in fact, not only given up her life of crime, she's actually married and raising 2 kids. He doubts this at first, but after investigating her life and seeing her shopping for squash, he starts to believe her. Things only get worse, though, when Dick Grayson is kidnapped to hold for ransom against Bruce Wayne, his ward. Yes. What would you call a person who has a ward? You know, Dick is Bruce's ward, but what's Bruce to Dick?
His foster father? Or no, his... I don't know. I've always heard ward.
Yeah. Dick Grayson never gets a lot to say. Shut up, Dick. All right.
That's a good question.
It's hard.
We'll Google this.
You do that while I finish this up. So yes, he's held for ransom. Batman eventually intervenes and beats up this giant green monster at the dock to get Dick back, save him. Dick ends up telling Batman that he actually knew Poison Ivy's husband because he was his former professor, yeah. And in fact, he doesn't have 2 boys; he has 2 girls. So this gives Batman the knowledge that, you know, Poison Ivy's doing something mischievous here. So he goes to her greenhouse late at night and discovers that not only is she behind all the ransoms and the toxins and the poisoning, she's in fact been growing these plant people, essentially, by using her husband's DNA while keeping him in stasis the whole time. Of course, Poison Ivy shows up and there's this big rumble. She uses these frightening, creepy plant babies that she's raised to fight Batman.
Yeah.
And them babies, though.
Mommy.
They're freaky as fuck. Anyway.
We'll get into it.
I would say the definition would probably be guardian. Just a simple.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Bruce is Dick's guardian.
Bruce is Dick's guardian.
Bruce guards the Dick. Anyhow.
The Dick, just Dick.
Right. Show title and done. That will probably also be it. So yes, Batman eventually beats all these green monsters by using weed killer. Again, Batman gets out of these situations in the weirdest ways. It's very like 60s Batman where it's like, I've got this in my belt.
Yeah, but it's a little bit more than that because he preemptively switched the water with weed killer
as an insurance policy.
Right, but
it's like, what if she decided to water her plants?
Weird. The problem is weed killers.
You're worried about all these plants.
Insanely toxic, and you know, it got in his mouth and everything.
It's also insanely delicious.
That's right, and it is successful. He beats all the green monsters.
Don't eat weed killer, kids.
And Batman thinks he's won when he discovers that Poison Ivy was in fact one of these plant people clones, and the real Poison Ivy is miles away on an airplane. Even though crying because of the family that she had and lost because of her life of crime. I thought a very, very emotional ending, very passionate ending.
It's actually a really good ending, too. Impactful.
Yeah, let's get into it. What'd you like about this episode, Brian?
You get a different spin on the villains of Gotham City.
Mm-hmm.
You, instead of the Arkham Asylum, crazy, batshit crazy, I am doing this for whatever reason. You know, the show is good at giving you a reason.
Mm-hmm.
This one is an ulterior, very thought out and planned out. This is my new life. Why would I want to jeopardize this? And you get a whole new feel and spin. Also, goes to show you the level of psychosis that is involved with this.
Yes.
That they've gone to these measures to create this false life. Almost, you know, like a Stepford Wives type thing. It's a very good episode.
I love the line from Poison Ivy where she's like, I meant that I want a family that loves me. I just wanted them on my own terms.
Yeah, which is totally understandable.
I love that. See, that's why Paul Dini's writing is so great. It's because this isn't just a 2D character. This is a person that's rounded, that has her own ideas, and that's not demented, but she's delusional to a point where she thinks this is what she's doing is all right, and she has a motivation for her crimes, and that she thinks is fair, you know. She thinks she's trying to save all the plants from people destroying them, and she's going to have to destroy people to save them.
But she needs more money to do it. And
Right, so she's going to steal these
she's
things.
just going to go after bachelors because, you know.
But I thought the voice actress for Poison Ivy, Miss Diane Pershing, I believe, I thought she's really good as the voice of Poison Ivy. I've always enjoyed her, but she never really gets the credit that like Mark Hamill or Kevin Conroy do.
Yeah.
But I think every time that she's in the role of Poison Ivy, she gives this wonderful, confident, assured, and yet I don't want to say sexy, but she's good in making it sound like she's using her sexuality to get men to do what she wants.
Yeah.
She's very believable in that.
There's
role.
great inflection in her voice,
Mhm.
where she definitely has sort of like
a passion to her
a
voice.
seductive sound, but there's also like a very educated sound to her voice. She does sound like a doctor. She sounds like she knows what she's talking about.
Very confident, yeah.
Yeah.
One little kiss, and dear Stephen was my slave. He was useful in signing my release papers and for supplying certain raw materials for my experiments. But the marriage was, well, a fake.
And these mutations?
Our children, Batman. Plant-based life forms enhanced with Stephen's DNA. They're not truly human. In fact, their lifespans are somewhat like certain rare flowers that blossom and die in a few days.
I see. At first, it looks like a child. Then it resembles Dr. Carlyle. And in its final phase...
In its final phase, before it burns itself out, the creature becomes my willing enforcer and bodyguard.
Thief and kidnapper is more like it.
It costs money to raise a family.
You haven't changed a bit.
Yes, I have. I meant it when I said I wanted a family that loves me. I just wanted it on my terms.
Lady, you're nuts.
Well, that's your opinion. Probably the last one you'll ever have, too. Kids? That water I fed them contained a superactive growth formula. True, it cuts their lifespan down to just a few minutes, but that's more time than you've got.
She sounds highly educated, and it
she's not a
really
street-
plays into her character.
She's great.
She's not a street thug and, you know, whatever.
Yeah, she's not Rocco or Vinny. Would you be shocked if I was to tell you that Diane Pershing has a career not only as a voice actress, but also as a romance novelist, Chris?
I would not be surprised because you would be surprised.
I was surprised when I found out.
Like, how many people become romance writers? Like, it's just...
But I think it kind of illustrates why she's so good at playing that sexual Ivy character.
She gets that shit.
She understands the role of sexuality.
So some things that I wanted to bring up. Let's see.
I've got one. Seeing Batman in the day is weird as fuck.
It is. He's just standing on that tree like it's nothing.
That was the funniest one.
That shot, I was like, this needs to be like the shot for the cover of this episode.
Because he's spying on Poison Ivy while she's like buying squash, and he's like just standing all the way up in a tree. There's no way she didn't see him.
Legit standing in a tree with binoculars.
This man in this black suit with like a cape and ears.
I'm like, no, everyone sees you right now, Batman. You're not being like
Sleuthy
at all.
The funniest one though is when he and Commissioner Gordon walk up to her house in like the middle of the day.
Yeah,
and just seeing him and Gordon walk into her house and her being like, "Oh, please come in." It's like, what the fuck is wrong? I would love it if he like wore a suit and just like the cape and cowl.
Her moments with the kids were so cute though. Like it did seem very affectionate and like when
she wanted to have a family. Yeah,
when they run over to her and she's just like hugging them and explaining to them, it's like a legitimately mothery type of thing to say.
Which is what makes this episode really good is that at the end, I mean,
she loses all that.
She loses all that. She really believed or bought into what she created.
Let's talk about Ivy's angry baby squad.
Oh my god, those fucking freaky kids. Try to stop that.
Squad on fleek is a thing. It's a thing now.
Okay.
I've never seen such menacing looking babies.
Yeah.
That takes some real skill.
When they come out, like the way it's drawn?
Yeah. Like they look fucking evil.
When they come out of the Cabbage Patch and one of them just stands up, it's great. It's great.
there's an emergency alert, a severe flood warning.
So if you're in the area of New York on Sunday, you already know, but there was an emergency alert, so don't worry about it.
It just went off, and I was like, what is this? But
that lets you know when we recorded this show. You can place it.
Those babies, like,
Freaky.
and then they start talking, Mommy.
That line, them calling out Mommy, was like, oh fuck, she's fucking. And the best thing is like Batman's reaction to it, where he's like, no, and he drops his light. It's great. The best reaction for Batman.
Wait.
Yeah.
I know which one you're talking. The reaction to which Al is speaking is when he finds out that Ivy is not Ivy, and he goes, what?
Weed killer.
I figured whatever you were up to involved plants, so I pumped your water tanks with herbicide.
What was the tip-off, Batman? Stephen's kids?
You couldn't replicate them as girls, not with Carlisle's DNA. So you took your chance with boys.
But Ivy could replicate herself.
What?
It's one of my
the best.
It's one of my favorite like weird Batman things that he's ever said on the series.
What? It's just so you've never seen Batman that like
shocked.
Yeah.
And it's weird because he's the detective. He's the one that knows all the steps and knows everything that's going on. And for him to be surprised is a great ending to the episode. I thought a lot of twists at the end that really make it a fun episode to watch also.
Am I the only one who thought that when that it sounded really dirty when Dick said, anyone else want their weeds whacked?
Anyone else want their weeds whacked?
No, you are the only one.
I'm the only one who thought that? All right.
I can tell you though that Batman is a massive cock block because Dick is like 5 minutes away from sleeping with this girl.
He's about to be all up in them lips.
It was like 30 seconds.
And then Batman calls and he's like, hey, I need you to do something for me. It's like,
right now?
And then the girl just leaves and Dick gets kidnapped right after. It's like, you could not have made his night any worse.
That's pretty bad.
There's one more thing. When the kids come in and they're like, oh, Mom, the Batmobile's outside. One of them is like, Mom, you didn't tell us you knew Batman. Yeah. And the other one is just staring mouth open at Batman. It's just like constant, like, oh, it's bad. He doesn't say a word. It's the same shocked face for like a minute and a half, and it's wonderful.
That's so perfect. There's another like design thing I wanted to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
With Poison Ivy. Well, first of all, Poison Ivy is always fucking hot.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's, a tall drink of water.
And I like this design of Poison Ivy more so.
Does that apply? Is that like a man thing? Is that something you say about men and not women?
No, it's fine. I would drink her up. I like redheads. The thing is, I like the design of Poison Ivy in the Batman the Animated Series more than the new Batman Adventures. Cause there she became, not only did the outfit get more sexualized, where like she loses the legs, which she doesn't lose her legs. She loses leggings, so it's just like the top.
Oh.
But she also becomes like kind of a pixie design where she's like shorter and she's younger and like she has like, I think she has pointed ears also. But this Poison Ivy feels like what a sexy woman would look like if she was really to dress up as like this plant lady. Yeah. Not like what some weird pixie would look like if she became a plant lady.
I think although she's very much, into like plants and, like plants in her life, she's also a scientist. And I think she still has, she doesn't think she's plants, if that makes sense. Like she's not like a hippie. She's still very much a scientist and a woman of science. Right. She just has this profound respect for plants. Mm-hmm. So I like that she still looks like a normal woman.
Yeah.
Like an adult woman who has her shit together. Mm-hmm. She just likes plants. The thing I want to talk about, I mean, obviously there's some like sexualization of her character in terms of like her bustier, her like boobs are about to pop out. But like, even when she's not in that outfit, there's just something about Poison Ivy, and it's that juice drop on her lip. Mm-hmm. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
I can figure it out.
There's like on her lips. Well, first of all, there's two-tone shading on her lips, so one lip is darker than the other, which just like draws your eye to her lips.
Is that a
I don't know,
makeup
it's a
trick?
design thing. It's just
it's something they did.
Yeah. It's in terms of the design for the show, like because her upper lip is slightly darker, you notice her bottom lip so much more, and it just seems like plump and juicy. And there's literally like a shine, like it's a white dot essentially, but it's a shine drop on her lip, which makes it seem like
sexier.
plump,
Yeah.
and like there's just something about Poison Ivy, like there's these little things, but it's like, damn, your lips are juicy. You're a fine ass.
That's actually
pixie.
Meghan Trainor's next song. Your lips are juicy.
But anyway, that's the thing I noticed, and I was just like, that is just,
good design,
amazing design, and
Bruce
good
Timm.
job.
That's why I love the designs of Bruce Timm. I think his Batman, the design of that Batman is my Batman. That's what I think of when I think of Batman, and so many of his other characters. That's like his Riddler specifically. I love that. Very formal jacket, smart man, not the Frank Gorshin, suit, rather onesie, I guess you could call it, like the Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
suit. I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
I like the very
like an actual,
smart businessman
people
Riddler.
would wear.
Yeah.
People aren't wearing no jumpsuits. Well, fashion people are wearing jumpsuits, but.
Yeah. And I thought that was such a mistake they made in Batman Forever, where they should have dressed Jim Carrey up like Batman the Animated Series Riddler and not just let him do his Frank Gorshin impression, which is what he does in that movie for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think he needed the hat.
I like the hat.
The bowler hat?
But he wore the hat. He wore the bowler in the movie. Cause he takes it off of the machine, the fortune teller.
Right, he does.
That's the one thing he took.
Yeah, he should have left it.
Chris, you wanted to add something else?
Yeah. I was literally, like, for the past minute while you guys were talking, trying to remember what I had wanted to say.
Yeah.
So I don't want people to get upset when I'm about to say, but I feel like...
Oh, no.
I feel like Poison Ivy is one of, like, the most feminist characters on Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I don't think...
I wouldn't say she's a feminist. I say she's a strong, empowered woman.
But I think she's a feminist.
There is the Harley and Ivy episode is just all about like screw men, women are better.
Yeah, I was going to say that Thelma and Louise episode.
Yeah.
This is the problem, though. I feel like feminism gets a bad rap that it's man hating, and it's not. Empowering one sex is not anything to do with tearing down another.
I agree.
But I think I see where you're going with this.
I thought Robin was going to be like, but I think women are lesser, and they should be.
No, I said I think I see where Chris is going with this.
No, yeah. And I think to a certain extent, yes, she does tend to target men, but there are episodes where she doesn't just target men. She targets
men.
Well, she targets people who ruin plants, and they tend to be men.
I mean,
jerks.
That's not necessarily what you would think of. She's not like, oh, let's protect women, which I think most people would assume would be a feminist,
ideal.
But it's not. She is a strong woman. She has her shit together. She knows what she wants from her life. If she decided, she wanted a family, and that was fine because that's what she wanted, and she wanted it on her own terms. Right. I don't agree with certain...
Right. See, that's the thing about Dini is that idea is perfectly understandable and relatable, and then he brings her delusion into that, and she's like, well, I love plants. I can make plant people.
Yeah. I don't think that, we did talk about how she's like obviously a very sexual person. I don't think the fact that she is
I like the fact that she uses that sexuality.
Yeah, she uses it, and I don't think that there's to a certain extent there is a sexualization of her character in terms of design aspect. I don't necessarily think that takes away from her being a feminist character. I think that she owns her sexuality, and I think that's a big part of feminism.
Not being ashamed
I
of
think
your
it is.
sexuality, yeah.
And your body and, anything.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that.
There you have it, the Equality Minute with Cristina Araujo. Anything else out, or can we go to ratings? You want to talk about gentrification of the suburbs also? Want to throw that in there?
Well, there were a lot of white people in this episode.
There were. I didn't see a lot of black people there. Lucius Fox wasn't around. Brian, anything to add?
No, I thought we pretty much captured the good part of this episode was showing, what life she created for herself. And again, it you delve into more than just a smash and grab type thing.
Right. And it gives you so much more interest in what happens next with Poison Ivy because you know so much more about her character, but but she wants that family, but she can never have it.
And as we mentioned earlier, it walks that fine line of there's empathy for the character, but never so much that it's the Robin Hood effect.
Exactly.
So,
let's go to ratings. Brian, you first. What do you have to say?
I'm going to say 4.
4?
I like this episode more now watching it later.
As an adult?
Never liked the Poison Ivy episodes that much when I was younger.
4 out of 5.
4.
I almost want to say like this is a 4.25.
Huh?
Because, I don't know. Now that I think about it, I think I actually like this episode better than Joker's Favor only because, I don't know. I feel like I mesh with it more. Like I understand things about it more.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the idea that there's that, you thought that you were getting one thing with her and you get something completely different.
Right. She's a far more complicated character than you thought.
Yeah, and I support her psychosis, if that makes sense.
I support her murdering people in the name of plants.
No, I don't support that, but I mean, she wants plant babies. She wants her life on her own terms, and I just support that. And
I support that idea. I don't support her robbing people and poisoning them to get it.
That part I don't support so much. Also,
yeah,
we didn't really mention this, but like, Angry Baby Squad was scary.
Oh yeah, I was fucking terrified.
But like, those plant monsters are fucking scary too.
I thought they were more hilarious than scary.
I thought they were more scary when they talked. And they had like serious deep voices, and
I'm glad you brought up the voice. Do you know who that is?
I know that it's been used before.
Oh, he's a very well-known voice actor. That's Darkwing Duck. That's Jim Cummings.
Oh my god!
Who does the voice of Darkwing Duck?
That's gonna be really loud when I just said, "Oh my god!"
Sorry,
you can cut that out. But like, I knew it, and he does have this sort of like the way he says the end of his words.
Yeah.
It does sound very similar. So
also, he was the voice of Shocker on Spider-Man the animated series, which was Spider-Man 94, which is what I knew him from. When I heard that voice, I'm like, I know that voice so much. I saw him as the voice of Shocker, and I'm like, that's him.
Keep driving, or your neck gets a new air hole.
What do you want?
I do the talking. Bring $5 million in cash to the docks tomorrow midnight. Come alone, or the kid is history. Nod if you understand. Smart boy.
Another order of dastardly delinquents deposited on your doorstep, courtesy of Darkwing Duck. That's 2 words, not 3. Both these capitalized. Here's my photo. If the papers need more glossies, my number's on the card. Now I must go. The scent of crime is in the air.
Very cool. You 4.25.
Yes.
I had this at a 4 out of 5. I liked it a lot, but I like Heart of Ice a lot more. Brian, was your highest rating Joker's Favor?
Yeah.
That's interesting. We all rated a different show the highest.
Listen, that's I guess more of a beauty to what the show was, that it did have something for everyone.
Absolutely, adults and kids.
I told you, I really liked the day Batman died. Was it?
Oh, the man who killed Batman.
No, not the man who killed.
Oh, Perchance to Dream.
No. Which is the one where they're all sitting around?
Almost got him.
Almost got him.
Yeah.
I like that episode a lot.
I think it's a fun episode to watch.
Don't.
It's just not one of my favorites because we don't really build a lot of build one long story overall because you have all these single stories.
I know, but I like those kind of stories of, at the bar going, oh shit, here we go again. You got to hear this one.
It's a fun ending, I think.
Yeah, no, it's a great episode.
No, I've got Batman in my basement though.
No, I think we can agree that one sucks.
Yeah, it's universally panned for a reason.
I honestly, I don't know about that episode.
We'll watch it after, don't worry.
I honestly just I can't pick one.
Yeah.
There's just so many great episodes.
Well, all right, let's say ones we don't like. Just pick the one you don't like. Like, we agreed, obviously, that Batman's in the basement.
One that I like that nobody else probably likes is Moon of the Werewolf with the Olympian who gives himself injections so he can be stronger, but it's werewolf
he
DNA. He
turns himself into a werewolf.
Yeah, I didn't mind.
I love that one.
I didn't hate that one. I hated the
Kyodai Ken ones?
No, I like the Kyodai Ken ones.
They're
a
good
lot.
too. Yeah.
The Tigress one.
Oh, Tiger.
Tiger.
And that one's not very. I don't like a lot of the Catwoman ones.
Yeah, the Catwoman. You know what?
I like the character, and I like Adrienne Barbeau as the voice. But when she's the main focus of an episode, I really don't enjoy it. I didn't like Cat in the Claw either.
I don't like the episode where Batman gets old because that makes me super sad.
Batman gets old.
Yeah, doesn't he have to pretend to be an old guy?
Oh, you're thinking of The Forgotten. That's the one where he gets like taken, and then they make him work on a labor camp.
Yeah, I don't
it's
like
an early
that
one.
either.
That one, Underdwellers.
Underdwellers.
Bad episode. That's the one with like all the kids are being held by the Sewer King.
Yeah.
One that I love.
And the reason why it's not good is just not enough Batman in it. And then
there's that, and also
the main
Sewer King isn't really that great.
Yeah, it's not a good character.
The Clock King one is good.
Oh, I love the Clock King.
I like the first one better than the second one.
Yes, I like.
Yeah,
definitely. And then which is the one where the guy makes himself invisible?
Oh, I forget what it's called, but it's in season 1. Yeah, that one's very good too.
I like that one. Mojo was.
Yeah, that was the name. Remember, he's a single. Well, he's not a single father. He's divorced from his wife, and he can't see his daughter. So he uses the Invisible Man's suit to like not only give her gifts as like her invisible friend, but also steal stuff.
That's really scary.
It's a very good episode. There's that fear factor to it.
Plus, he's making himself sick.
I'm Joe Rogan, not Seth Rogen.
Plus, he makes himself sick too because it's affecting him.
Yeah.
It's like screwing up his mind or whatever.
Good episode. Most of the Joker ones are pretty good. Laughing Fish is really, really good. The Riddler. I like the first Riddler one. If you're so smart, why aren't you?
Do you like the Minotaur one?
That's the same one. I like that one. I don't like the second one where it's like Riddler is in the computer and Batman has to like go into the computer to rescue Commissioner Gordon.
Oh.
Yeah, that was.
I don't like that one. I do like Riddler's Reform though, where he's like trying to go clean but he can't.
Yeah,
because he's a Riddler.
Yeah.
Very
and
good.
I was telling you before we started recording, or I think I mentioned it on here too, the Grey Ghost.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
the
Grey
Grey
Ghost.
Ghost. That's a good one.
They're all good for the most part. I think that if we were to just tell you all the ones we like, we'd be here for hours.
Do you have a favorite? Amazon Prime?
Yeah. Literally, I keep Amazon Prime,
solely for Batman.
For Batman, I Love Lucy, and of course 2-day shipping, but it's like those 3 things. Oh, and Seventh Heaven. Those
That's
3
a
things.
recent one though.
That is, yeah. Those 4 things. But yeah, there you go. That's our Batman the Animated Series of Retro Rerun. Hope you enjoyed it, because man, did I have a lot of fun watching these episodes and really analyzing them. There's a couple of things left to do though. First and foremost, Chris, if somebody wants to read your opinions on feminism in the modern era, where can they go?
I don't think I really write my opinions on feminism.
Well, if they want to read your opinions on other things, then.
Or
they can go to Chris Conquers.
Or Poison Ivy's 2-tone
Well,
lips.
I talk about feminism in romance novels sometimes.
There you go.
So there you go. There's
Chris
romance
Conquers.
reviews and the feminism in wearing as much fucking makeup as you want.
Whatever color you want.
Because makeup or no makeup does not make you feminist or anti-feminist.
That's very true. And maybe you can read a Diane Pershing book and tell us what you think of her works.
That's not gonna happen.
You should. What?
But I could.
Yeah.
I
But it
gotta
won't.
see what she reads, what she writes.
Yeah.
So.
But you can read all that at chrisconquers.com. CRISCONQUERS.
Good
job.
spelling.
Yeah, not even reading from notes or anything, folks. Corral on Twitter, Corral on Instagram.
Yes.
Brian, people want to see photos of Chris's of Chris's feminist face. They can't see it on b911b.com because
They can't see it on
anywhere.
Chris Conquers either. I'm not a selfie taker.
That's true. But if they want to see other photos that you've taken,
mostly in New York City.
Mostly of New York City, where can they go?
b911b.com or on Instagram, b911b photo.
There you go. Look at that stuff there, wherever he says. And also Twitter, b911b 22.
Yeah, that's a personal. I don't do anything on it.
You can hear what Brian thinks about Totino's pizza rolls or whatever. I don't know what he eats. There you go.
Always hot. And the cheese and sauce never stays in. It always squirts out while
It
you're
does.
cooking them.
And the pepperoni in there is garbage.
It is.
It's like little tiny cubes.
It's impossible not to burn yourself.
It's very true. Especially if you fry them. If you fry them, you're dead. If you bake them.
You can fry them?
Well, yeah, we used to fry them all the time.
No, we didn't. We always used to bake them.
No, we bake them. The last couple of times we've had them, we baked them, but earlier we used to fry them.
We never fried them.
Bet me $5.
We never fried them.
Bet me $5 on
Pizza
audio.
rolls, you always put them on a tray and put them in the oven.
Bet me $5.
I don't ever remember frying them.
Okay.
Ever.
That's a safe way to get out of it. It's like, I don't remember it.
Ever.
Okay, Chris, one last thing. People want to tell us what their favorite episode of Batman the Animated Series was, or ones that they didn't like. They want to tell us that.
Which please do, because we appreciate that.
We do.
I actually posted on Facebook yesterday saying we were going to be recording and asking people to tweet us their favorite episodes or, thoughts or questions that they had, and no one tweeted us anything.
Busy weekend, all the rain. People have to go out and walk in the rain.
I guess people have lives that don't revolve around Batman.
Fuck you guys.
Chris,
where can they do all that?
On Twitter, you can tweet us at antenna_heads. You can listen to us on our website, browcast.com. You can also listen to us on TuneIn, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, and on YouTube, which we have a YouTube channel. You can subscribe and get all of our latest posts, and you can give us a thumbs up, leave some comments, rate us in all of those places, because we'd like to know that you like what we're doing. Or don't like, but mostly like.
Absolutely. And look forward to next week, folks, as we'll be talking about some recently debuted shows, including David Duchovny's new series, Aquarius, on NBC, focused around Charles Manson.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that was coming.
Get ready for that next week, folks.
Which they already aired they're all on demand.
Yes, the first episode aired, but after the first episode aired, they all went on demand, but they're still going to air week to week. There's only one thing left to do. Brayan, take it away.
So, for Alex and Cristina, this is Brayan saying thank you for listening to this retro rerun of Batman the Animated Series, episode 93 of Antenna Heads.